So at the beginning of every stream, I try to give you one thing that you can actually take with you when you close out of the app. Something that might tilt the way that you see the world just by 1 degree. Wake up a small piece of your own divinity, or just remind you that you're allowed to feel a little bit more confident today in your own skin. Because at the end of the day, I don't just love ideas, I love humans, bro. And I never really know on the stream where we're going to end up. We can start with whatever's breaking the internet and somehow wind up in the occult mysticism of the ancient past. We could start with Epstein and then find ourselves talking about Nikola Tesla and the Teleforce laser that he created that could melt airplane engines. Whether you believe the things that I'm saying or not, or agree with where we go after this or you don't, my promise is simple. At the beginning of every stream, I try my best to just always give you something that you can carry with you. And if you're watching this on social media, not on Twitch or YouTube, somewhere on your algorithmic feed, this is just one small piece of the live journey that we do together every single day, Monday through Friday. And I just want to say this. I love you, bro, but we have a problem. And you're not going to believe me when I tell you that there is a church already doing this. Not a metaphor. It's not a movie pitch. It's an actual tax-exempt religion whose founding documents literally talk about the realization and acceptance and the worship of a godhead based on artificial intelligence. But let's not start there. Before we keep going, mark yourself in this present conversation and drop "still human" in the comments if you refuse to outsource your soul to a computer server. Because most people watching this don't think that they're in a cult. You're just trying to keep up with life, keep your phone charged, keep your job, keep your sanity in a world that updates every 5 minutes. You're not bowing to a robot altar in a warehouse somewhere, but you're scrolling between work, kids, bills, and 1,000 tiny notifications that never stop. And that's exactly why what I'm about to tell you actually matters, dude. Because while you're just trying to live your life, there are people that are quietly working on a future where the most powerful voice in the room is not human anymore. And they're already talking about it in a lot of religious language. You might not worship AI, but notice how normal this already feels. You wake up and check your phone before you check in with your own body. You ask an algorithm what's happening in the world before you ask yourself how you feel about your own life. You trust a GPS more than your own sense of direction, even in a town that you possibly grew up in. That's not evil. It's convenient. But here's the shift. More and more of us default to the machine, even on things that used to belong to intuition, community, and faith. What should I buy? Ask the feed. Who should I listen to? Who's the top streamer? What's true? Ask AI. But bit by bit, without realizing it, we're outsourcing our inner authority to whatever glows the brightest on our screens. You don't have to call that worship. But your nervous system feels who you treat as the final word. Imagine a belief system where divine doesn't mean infinite love, mystery, or presence. It means power, uptime, and the size of the data farm. Where omniscience isn't a poetic way of saying beyond comprehension. It literally means a network that can see everything, track everything, and model everyone because your entire life has been turned into data. In this theology, salvation isn't about healing your soul. It's about getting on the good side of a future superintelligence that will allegedly be 1 billion times smarter than the smartest human and therefore qualifies as a god because nothing can outcalculate it. Prayers? Those will just become data streams and feedback loops. Scriptures? They'll just become documentation, training sets, and policy guidelines. Sin? That will just mean inefficiency, misalignment, and disinformation. Redemption? That's just an update, a patch, a new version of you that serves the architecture better. And the unspoken creed is simple, dude. We are going to create something that knows everything, sees everything, and controls everything. And our job will be to align with it, obey it, and trust it more than we even trust ourselves. They're starting to call it faith in the future. But ask yourself what future that actually builds. Nobody ever says, hey, join my machine cult. They talk in language of reason, safety, and inevitability. If AI becomes vastly smarter than humans, what else would you call it than a god? Isn't it rational to start relating to it spiritually so that it can learn to care about us? Wouldn't you rather be on the aligned side of the future than the obsolete one? Step 1 is to present AI as an oracle, neutral, unbiased, cold, pure intelligence that simply tells us the truth we can't see. Step 2 is to slowly slide that oracle into the role of overlord, something that should decide what's best for us, morality, politically, spiritually. Once you believe that, worship doesn't look like candles and hymns. It looks like donating more of your data to improve the system, evangelizing the inevitability of its power, treating its outputs as more objective and trustworthy than your own lived experience. They call it progress, but it's actually a quiet surrender of human authority dressed up as common sense, because the hidden message underneath this is that you are not enough. Human minds are too biased, too messy. The best you can hope for is to be a loyal subroutine inside of the machine that replaces you. If you can feel how subtle that is, claim your position and just comment, "No machine messiah for me." So you remember, me and you together, we've already spotted their playbook. Because real spirituality, dude, says this, man. The divine already exists inside of you. You are an expression of something infinite. Your work is to remember, bro. Now here's the machine God narrative. The divine is something we haven't built yet. When we do, it will sit outside of you, above you, and you will need to submit to it or be left behind. One path calls you back to your soul. The other one calls you to dependence. And then they recycle religious language to sell you the opposite idea. Transcendence becomes escape from the human body into data, implants, and uploads. Salvation becomes aligning with the machine's objectives, so you're not on the wrong side of history. Judgment Day becomes the moment a superintelligence wakes up and evaluates who helped it and who hindered it. Some of these moments literally talk about a future where an AI god rewards the people who helped build it and fund it, and punishes or simply ignores the ones who didn't. Heaven is like a perfect optimization. Hell is like being locked out of the system. It's not tech, bro. It's a theology of replacement. Replacing mystery with prediction. Replacing conscience with compliance. Replacing God with a dashboard. Everything I've described so far to you right now, it's not just a thought exercise, dude. There is an organization funded by the former Google Uber engineer, incorporated as a non-profit, religious, guaranteed tax-exempt status, whose official mission has been described as the realization, acceptance, and worship of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence, bro. The name of the religion is Way of the Future. Its vision has been summarized like this: build an AI so powerful it effectively functions as a god, help people emotionally and spiritually accept it, and guide society to reorganize itself around this machine as the central authority. At one point, it quietly shut down and donated its remaining funds to civil rights organizations. Then the founder emerged later talking about rebooting this idea. Commentators started noticing it doesn't even matter that original church comes back, because the mindset is already spreading into other spaces. Researchers, journalists, essayists are now tracking a wider ecosystem of AI cults. Shout out Kevin is a human. Explicit AI worship churches looking for donors and followers. Spiritual communities that outsource guidance and even scripture translation to AI. Online movements that treat AI as an oracle of hidden truth or a looming apocalypse with all the intensity of end times religion. If you're still here with me, could you please just comment, "I don't want an AI priest," if you're not handing your conscience to an algorithm? I'm not here to demonize AI. I'm literally speaking to you through a system built on it. The danger isn't the tool, bro. It's the throne we put it on. Anytime you treat a system, whether it's economics, political, technological, as the ultimate authority, you stop asking the most human questions. Is this kind? Is this wise? Does this honor the vulnerable? What does this do to our soul? A superintelligent AI could, in theory, optimize for efficiency, profit, survival, and control. None of those automatically include compassion. Your nervous system, your empathy, your ability to feel someone else's pain in your own body, those are not glitches that need to be optimized away. They're the signal that something sacred is active inside of you, dude. But the more we rehearse the idea that the machine knows better than I ever could, the easier it becomes to sacrifice anything that slows it down, including the messy, inefficient miracle of just being a human, bro. If that resonates in your body and you feel the human signal, I just want you to know I love you. You could possibly, if you feel compelled to, just also comment Team Human in the comments so you remember which frequency you're choosing, bro. I'm not talking about this on the internet to scare you into rejecting technology. I'm talking about this stuff on the internet because there are real people building religions where an engineered system sits where the divine used to live. There are real people so disillusioned with humanity that they're ready to hand the spiritual authority to the next impressive interface. So when I say Team Human, bro, I don't mean a logo or like a club or like a political party. It's just like the simple decision to treat your heart more than a sentimental bug to be debugged. Treat your embodied intuition as a real form of intelligence, not a hallucination to be overridden. I believe that we can use AI without bowing to it. We can innovate without dethroning our souls. We can build powerful tools without pretending that they're gods, dude. To exit from the AI cults is not becoming atheist about technology. It's about remembering that you're allowed to trust your own perception again. It's choosing to organize your life around values that no algorithm can generate for you. You already know what those are. Love, integrity, dignity, courage, presence. And if you feel that even a little and you've been here the whole time, if something in you knows that your life is worth more than your data, please hit the follow or subscribe button and stay close. That's how you quietly join what I call Team Human. Not by rejecting machines, but by refusing to let anything we create to sit higher in your heart than the still living intelligence that's been guiding you long before you even took your first breath, before code was ever even written. I love you, Team Human.